OTC. OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC?
And we are live. We're live with a small group this morning. We are going a little bit off topic. Normally, I've been broadcasting Ripple XRP, Ripple XRP, Ripple XRP. Today, we're going a little bit off topic on the title, and we are going to dig in on bank crypto adoption. We want to talk a little bit about beware of flash crashes, margins, and what one little tiny exchange is actually doing for their customers. They got caught up in a little bit of some margin trading and suffered some big losses. I also want to get into the fact that crypto has been going mainstream. We need to dig in and try to figure out, what does it actually mean by going mainstream? When do we see mainstream adoption? How is it happening? Where is it happening? When is it happening? But it's all getting ready to happen right about now.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
I ran the wrong open. That's hilarious. And I got my volume turned all the way down, so I didn't even hear it. That's hilarious. All right. I ran the wrong open, and that's okay. Chip's not here today. Chip's here, but he's possibly in the comment universe someplace. Why don't you guys give a quick shout out as far as where you guys have tuned in from? I already had a crazy morning this morning, and it's only 8 o'clock. So, and then we're going to hit the ground running as soon as we're done with this stream this morning as well. But give a shout out where you guys are tuning in from, because I saw somebody tuning in from Saudi Arabia. So welcome. Welcome to the stream here. We got England reporting in for duty. We got Adam here reporting for duty from England. Let's see, what else we got going? Why is the, here we go. Look at this. Boom, finally made it live from Margate, Kent. Is anyone else having their head melted by Flare Faucet? There we go. We got Greece in here with George. Got Omaha, Nebraska. Nice. And we've got Scott. He's running out to get another cup of coffee. Why? Because if he's tuning in with some death wish, this is really the only way you're going to make it through today's stream, because you got to get the extra caffeine, you got to get the extra flavor, and then it's all good. How's that for an ad for for a freebie ad for their coffee? So we got San Francisco tuning in here. We got Chi-Town. Where'd Chi-Town go? There's Chi-Town. Got the Netherlands tuning in for a little bit. And I didn't even mention IMF yet. I was going to, and none other than DNI bounces in here because he's out playing with the elephants all the way over in Thailand. So, you know, it's funny. We get some comments and they're like, man, why do you guys spend like the first 5-6 minutes giving shout outs, kind of engaging? And they're like, when are you going to get directly to the digital asset talk? When are you going to get to the XRP talk? And we say, hey, you know what? This show is all about those that are coming on to view. It's all about the on the chain community. So why not give some people a shout out, a little bit of a welcoming? It's kind of, if you go to a meeting, you don't walk into your meeting and all of a sudden everyone just starts talking about the meeting topic. There's a little bit of introduction. You talk a little bit about the weather. You talk about where you're from. You talk a little bit about the kids or something, and then you kind of break the ice. Then you start talking about the good stuff. And so right here, that's kind of our way of engagement. You know, as people are bouncing in, let everybody kind of feel comfortable as we're getting ready to talk. And it's so great to see. You know, one of the reasons that we love shouting people out in the space and trying to figure out where you're from is because the one thing that is certain is the digital asset space is global in nature. And it's so amazing on every one of our streams, whether we have 100 like we do now or we have over 1,000. It's so amazing to see where people tune in from, because this is the on the chain community, but it is a family of crypto enthusiasts. And that's why when we dig in here and we're going to talk a bit about Ripple XRP, we might talk about XLM, we might talk about Cardano to see exactly where Cardano is going. I want to get in and talk a little bit about some of the impact that the Treasury Secretary may or may not be having on the crypto space. We're going to engage a little bit in a further conversation on how all of this is blending in with some of the stock investment that's currently going on over on Reddit, and some of the impact blowback that we're starting to see. Blowback, good, bad, indifferent, but you're starting to see engagement, full engagement, which is awesome. We've got Mickey B. Fresh, straight out of the DeFi Standard, tuning in here. Great to see you on. He says, good morning. Great shows lately. Loving the convo with you and Chip. Appreciate that, Mickey B. We've got David D. David D is an old-time supporter of On the Chain. Been around for a long time, all over the place. Great to have you on as well. Now, as you guys are bouncing in, if you're brand new over here, brand new to the show, make sure you go down, hit that little red button down below, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notifier. That helps our little Google AI algorithms kind of boost the show up a little bit, and that's a great way for you guys to support out. So let's see, we got Ryan over here. Appreciate you coming on for the whole community. And we got Cricky DZ, Jeff dropping the real talks, man. That's awesome. Love to have you guys. It's great having you guys on. So let's see what we got. We got Alejandro, brand new subscriber. Big shout out to Alejandro, brand new to the On the Chain community. So you're going to be very pleased that you're here with us. Hang on one second. Where shall we start? First, number one, let me start with moving this over here. Let's move this over here. And then now let's share our screen. So that way we have a few things that we're going to talk about. Here's a place I want to start because it kind of blends in with the whole theme. One of the themes that I want to talk about today is beware of margin accounts. And there's one exchange out there that is actually taking a very proactive approach to the losses of their users that were trading and dabbling in margins. And we definitely got to check that out. You see that, DNI? Look at that. Escape to Belle Isle. He knows straight out of the Detroit. You like that? All right. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Got to share the screen. We got a 2-month subscriber on here as well. DCube42. All right, here we go. Let's dig into this. Let's get into this. Here we go. The first thing that we're going to start with today, we're going to go into the Reddit. We're going to go into the Wall Street bets. Now, Wall Street bets, obviously you guys have seen it all over the news. They've become a huge topic of conversation everywhere. Topic of conversation with the SEC, getting dragged in front of government. Now you've got one of their main guys over there, Roaring Kitty. Keith Gill got dragged in front of Congress to talk about his investment into GME, which is GameStop. There's many other stocks that have also been shouted out and invested in. And the Reddit groups are definitely influential in pushing some of these stocks up, down, indifferent. Here's one that I pulled up, and I thought this was interesting for a couple reasons. Number one, Palantir, PLTR, has been making huge waves. Why? Because it was another stock that did a direct listing a couple months ago. Direct listing, meaning that it went bypass the financial institutions, went straight out to the people, and allowed you to go in and invest in the stock directly. Now, Palantir launched out as a stock at $9, $9.99, something like that, $10. And it's interesting, $9.99 is such a great number. I used to have an eBay store years ago, and we listed everything at $9.99. Doesn't matter if it was a $50 item or a $10,000 item. The market will bear what the market will bear. So if you put a $9.99 listing on eBay and it's worth $10,000, unless it's some rare item that's never been searched, you look at the trends, it's going to get up to the 10,000. Then you're going to create the FOMO over the item, and it's amazing when you start seeing the bidding on an eBay item, and people get kind of crazed over it. But you see the same thing in the stock market. When, especially now with these direct listings, you have a huge opportunity for individuals on the retail side to start investing in stock. Now, why does stock? What does that have to do with digital asset? What does that have to do with XRP and all the others? Mainly because there's a crossover in what we're seeing right now with Main Street adoption of the crypto space that's also blending into what goes on with a lot of these other stocks. Now, mainstream adoption, you have PayPal talking about crypto and getting actively engaged in crypto. You've got Square actively engaged in crypto. You've got Elon Musk engaged in crypto. You've got MacroStrategy engaged heavily in crypto. But then you also have these other stocks that are almost like a balance. Why? Because crypto, one purpose and point of crypto is that it's driving engagement from a sector of society that many people have or haven't invested in stock, but they're looking for an opportunity to stack up their portfolio, to make money, and take personal responsibility for their future, which is exactly what we're seeing in the digital, in the stock space as well. You have a lot of people on the Reddit groups that may be looking to bolster their future. However, let's put this however, and this is the learning moment. So stay tuned. This is the learning moment right here. Now, the first statement up here, I put all my student loan in PLTR, as you guys said, at $29.30. What should I do next? Now, I'm sure you guys see the problem right off the bat with this statement, because one thing that we've said over and over and over again is do your own research. And the other thing is do not invest what you are not willing to lose. Now, that is relevant for the digital asset space, whether you're investing in Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, XDR, or ETH, or one of the other 1,000 cryptos. It's as relevant in the stock space. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Now, the other thing is don't trade when you don't know what you're doing. Trading is different than investing. Trading is typically going to be stacked up against you, especially if you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Now, David D brings up a great point here. What to do next? Get back to school, get a good education, quit risking what you can't afford to lose. As you guys said, is blaming conduct your due diligence, folks. Good grief. So this is, but look at this. So now the one thing is, if you're in it for the long term, if you put 10,000, 20,000, 500, 50,000, whatever it is, doesn't matter. If you can afford to lose it and you don't care about it, and you can put it into Palantir, and you know that the fundamentals of the stock Palantir are positive, what difference does it make if you go in at 30 and it goes back down and you believe in the long-term viability of Palantir? Then buy and double down on $23. But if you put your student loans in at 30 and you don't have another dime to spare, and you don't have a dime to your money, and that student loan you borrowed on interest in order to pay for your school, you made a bad move. That's the wrong move. You do not take money earmarked for something else to put into an investment that could go from $30 to $23 in the short term. Maybe in the long term, it's a $100 stock. Maybe it's a $50 stock. Maybe it's a $9 stock. How do you know? The fundamentals of the company are sound, but you're not gambling on stock. If you're going to gamble on stock and you're going to have an expectation that they're going to do a short squeeze or whatever they're going to try to do, like they did with GameStop, then I don't know what to say. But this is a lesson. And I saw this. I'm like, man, this is such a lesson, this statement here, because you got to really be careful with what you're doing. And there's so much more of this, within the conversation today, because, this was like an eye-opening moment. Now, it kind of bleeds over into what's happening in other areas of the market when people are putting into margin, not understanding what a margin account is specifically, and then getting screwed. And it's been happening, but those are lessons. I believe everybody has somehow been in a position in investing, especially in the early years. Here's somebody that's in school getting caught up in the hype, the excitement, the FOMO, the herd mentality, getting caught up in that. But you're going to learn. Yeah, you're going to learn quick that that's not the right thing to do, So, but anyhow, I saw some other things here. Hydro saying, hey, can you please take a look at XRP, because XRP is pumping right now. And what does that mean? Does that mean it was at 37 cents earlier and now it's at 45 cents? Look at that. So it did go up. It's getting crazy on the fiat leak, but it did go up. So let me pull this up on the CoinGecko so we can look at a chart real quick. I want to look at, okay, here we go. Let me pull this sucker up. Hang on. What just happened? Oh, right. Here we go. Okay. So open. Boom. There we go. So check this out. Here's another moment, where the whole market was trending down. We saw XRP trending down. I looked the other day, earlier, and it was up to 41 cents. So that means it was down to around 37 cents because it was up by about 10%. So it had dropped down at some point over the night, going back up. It's back at 45 cents. Obviously, in the past hour, it's up 3%. Past 24 hours, up 5%. The whole market yesterday was trending red. Again, Cardano is just killing it. I mean, it's absolutely crushing it. And I'm reading a lot more, articles on the Cardano, and Cardano is just blowing it up. I mean, that's freaking amazing. It's really unreal. Just full disclosure, I don't have any investment in the Cardano. I did not invest in Cardano, but you look at it as it trended from 60 cents a couple weeks ago, and then it went up to get close to the dollar mark, and now it's over the dollar mark at $1.42. And I think, what's, interesting here, and as we get into it, and I agree with what Putin the Serial is saying here, Cardano is next for the SEC. The SEC is getting anxious. They're getting super active, looking at all of these all of these different stocks and assets, crypto assets, digital assets that are being pumped right now. But this thing is on its way, as David Schmal here is saying, it's on its way for $1.70. But I believe it's definitely, once it passes that $1.50 mark, you look at these numbers, it's definitely moving in that direction. I mean, it's, if the market keeps trending up, this thing is definitely going to go probably to at least $1.50, probably $1.75, probably $2. And who knows, the sky's the limit at that point, unless the whole market tanks and we go back into a bear market session, and then it's going all the way down, and that's going to be a whole different situation. So man, that's exciting. It's always exciting. You look at this and you see what's going on. Man, let me see if I can get back to the home. There we go. Bitcoin though, Bitcoin down 15%. Ethereum is down. Cardano is crushing it. I'm still surprised with the Binance coin. Binance coin at 230. Polkadot's crushing it. And I've been reading some news on Polkadot and some of the other platforms. Now, the one thing that we look at also, there's projects out there that are solutions looking for problems, and then there's solutions that are actually, or there's projects that are actually solutions to real problems. Now you look at like a Cardano, you look at what their project is, and you start seeing anything that's like in this, in the payment space, like Polkadot, in the DeFi space. DeFi is like high up on the agenda right now. Eventually, everything's going to filter out, and we're going to be left with the solid platforms. But right now, everybody's vying for position. Even as we look over here, and we look at Stellar. Stellar sitting at 46 cents. What's amazing is that Stellar and XRP are side by side, and Stellar is ahead by a penny. So Stellar XLM is sitting there at 46 cents right now, whereas XRP is at 45 cents. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I don't think we've seen that before, unless I missed another cross like that. That is telling. There's a ton going on right now within the Stellar Foundation with XLM, and we're going to get in and talk a little bit more about that as well today. Let's see here. Here we go. Hydro, UK declared XRP is not a security yesterday. That's awesome. I mean, that is. Now, here's one of my points that I was going to be talking about today. And so this is a great segue. So I'm glad that Hydro brought this up. But, if we look at this segue, what are some of the things, that we're seeing going on right now? We see that the U.S. is potentially at this, if we were to look at all of the different countries right now, and we want to look at the digital currency space, we want to look at the crypto space, and we want to analyze it. The U.S. falling behind. Europe, depending on where you are in Europe, the UK is taking a big step forward and trying to gain big advantages in the crypto space, in the fintech space. There's an interesting article that we're going to go through because they have a 5-point plan that is actually really trying to focus in on how are they going to help the UK become a powerhouse in the fintech space. Now, what's unique about the cryptocurrency and the fintech space outside of, let's say, the legacy systems, outside of our typical fiat brick and mortar type banking arena, is that it's a lot more nimble. So one of the things that we've seen, obviously, as Ripple has tried to bring their solutions to the brick and mortars, to the banks move very, very slowly. Economies, countries, everything moves slow. Even this adoption into the digital currency space, they're talking about centralized CBDC, central bank digital currencies, the centralized control mechanism over a digital currency. That's moving slowly, but it's getting implemented right now. So we're seeing this massive migration towards digital currency. Now there's a very, very clear split between the brick and mortars and the fiat currencies that are controlled by nation states and by their central banks. And then we see this other economy that is split off within the fintech, which are the digital assets and the crypto. Now, the one thing is, the cat's out of the bag here, because the crypto space is growing by leaps and bounds. And we're starting to see the development in this space, which is just phenomenal. And so for anybody that's out there, any of these naysayers, and there's still quite a few of them, it's amazing to me, when you run into naysayers, I'm like, no, forget about the Bitcoin, forget about the digital currencies. They're never going to make it. Why? Because of quantum computing and blah, 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 and then we go back to and we say, okay, well, what else do we have here? Where are we going with the future of money? If we're going to stick with legacy solutions. Now, some of the naysayers are reading into it maybe a little bit incorrectly, or they're listening to the hype on the news, on the media, or they're listening to some of the hype coming from some of the politicians that are twisting and distorting the narrative a little bit to really fit what they want to project. So if you have like a Janet Yellen who's trying to twist this narrative that Bitcoin and the other digital assets are only used for nefarious purposes, but don't have any other advantage, because you got to have it centralized and controlled. So if you're going to do that through your CBDC structure, and you're going to create the Fed Now project because you're going to have the flow of payments and you're going to do all this, everything that's happening is the payment structure, the flow of payments is so critical and so vital to the movement where we're at right now. To get to the next layer, we have to simplify the payment process. Now, part of that simplification of the payment process is also then opening up opportunities to people all over the world. So if you can open up the opportunities for the movement of money to everybody, you're going to solve a lot of the world's problems. So one of the things that the governments will have you believe is that a lot of the world's woes in the impoverished nations are directly due to the fact, that whatever. I mean, they're going to come up with all sorts of reasons why you have to give handouts and you have to do all these things for these impoverished nations, and you have to put UN programs in place, and all this stuff is orchestrated. And then the governments and the people that are involved want to pat themselves on the back and say, look what we did to help these people that were in poverty, whatever country they're in, it doesn't matter. But in fact, all that is a movement of money. And what it is, it's a transfer of money from one organization to the next to get people involved. It has nothing to do with helping individuals on the ground, because what those programs are doing is guaranteeing generational poverty. So if you take a country, here's a perfect example. You take a country, and you guys are saying, what the heck does this have to do with digital assets? I'm going to get back to it in a minute. But if you take a country like Zimbabwe, right? And you're like, why are you talking about Zimbabwe? Well, if you take a country like Zimbabwe, it used to be a wealthier nation, has resources in the ground, similar to Venezuela, which has tremendous resources in the ground. But you take a country like Zimbabwe, lots of resources, has improper leadership, goes from an independent country that could actually produce agricultural product, and was a mass exporter of things they pulled out of the ground, plus agricultural products. Things they pulled out of the ground could be precious metals, precious stones, etc. And the narrative was flipped on its head. So Zimbabwe goes from relatively independent, economically speaking, to being flipped on its head to being reliant on UN subsidization, to the point now where it's no longer independent in nature and is being dictated to by the whims of those that are in charge of these UN handout programs. Now we see the exact same thing happen in Venezuela, where you see, an entire shift, an entire narrative where you have a wealthy country that then gets flipped on its head, and the entire narrative shifts and changes. So when that whole thing gets shifted and the narrative changes, what does that do for the people? The people are the one that end up suffering. So I kind of bring all that up and kind of get sidetracked on this. But if you go back, to the again, to the purpose and the idea behind the digital asset space, to all of these, let me pull this back up. But if you go back to all of these different digital assets that are out here, not all these projects are going to succeed. There's some projects out here that are going to disappear and go away, even though they have some of this valuation. But the point is that with all of these projects, I don't want to say the purpose, but the outcome is that all these people around the world have opportunities to actually build in the space and guarantee and work towards guaranteeing their own personal wealth creation and being able to take responsibility and control of your future, of your destiny, so to speak. And so switching that narrative anywhere in the world, that's why it goes back to what I said right in the beginning, is how amazing this is to have people from all over the world here, whether you're coming in from the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, or you're coming from someplace in Africa, or you're sitting, over here in, somewhere in Florida or California, or you're over in India, or you're over in Japan. It doesn't matter, because the whole point is that the people that are in this space right now, and especially those that are here with us within the on the chain community, are looking and saying, how can we develop in this space and understand and learn, because this is the future. This is the direction everything is moving in. However, as the future progresses, those that were in control of the legacy systems, the brick and mortars, are going to put up resistance. And that resistance is going to cause, some turmoil in the short term. Now, one of the things that we saw over the past week, two things, in fact, we saw over the past week. Number one, we saw the Federal Reserve have a little bit of a glitch. So there were trillions, what was it, $2, $3, $4 trillion put in limbo, mainly because there was a glitch. Supposedly someone did something wrong or whatever. I just don't believe that nonsense that they said someone fat fingered something and made a mistake and that shut the whole system down. You can't convince me that a system like that handles all payments can just be all of a sudden sidetracked and shut down the flow of money like that, by somebody typing something in incorrectly. Now, at the same time, while that was happening, there was also another shutdown just the other day. Let me see if I put this in here. This, I think, was just yesterday. It was I think it was Visa. Shoot, where is it? Oh, I didn't save the article on this one. Where? Oh, shoot. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I did put it up. Let me see. Where is it? I know I have it up here. It came after Bitcoin. There's an article on Ghana. Here we go. Okay. So this is relevant. I'm going to pull this one up. This is definitely relevant here. It says here, customers are reporting credit card payment crashes at restaurants and stores across the U.S., including Chick-fil-A and IKEA. So now there could be multiple reasons why credit cards are going down, but the payment processor FISERV said its services were interrupted on Friday. Now, a couple of days prior to that, you had the Fed going down, so they can't move money. A couple of days after that, a major payment processor goes down and all their services are interrupted. Now, that isn't something that's 100% unique because these processing companies can definitely go down. However, FISERV is one of the leading payment providers in the U.S. And look at this, a widespread internet service provider outage has impacted multiple businesses today. So what exactly happened? So they're saying they obviously rely on internet connectivity, but where was the internet connectivity, and what was the purpose? Why did it only impact the payment processors? So there were a lot of issues. Look at this. Chick-fil-A's payment machines weren't working earlier, leading them to give out free meals. Miami International Airport put out a statement telling customers about a county-wide outage with credit card machines inside taxis. So we're talking about all over the country, things were being impacted. Another major payment provider, Global Payments, told Insider it does not process payments for any of the businesses impacted by the outage. And here's another one. They did not immediately respond. So what exactly is going on when you have, two major entities like that are actually going down in the same exact week? What exactly is that? What's going on? So here's Devon is saying payment services going down could be to justify the keeping of cash. Yeah, who knows? I mean, there's so many things that are going on. Or are they orchestrating something in the back end? Did the Fed somehow interrupt these guys, or was it just some coincidence that they both happened the same week? Or was one reactionary to the other? I mean, it's crazy. It really is. So, all right. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here we go. Had the shutdown happen after hours, it would have been much worse, according to the article. Definitely not accidental. See, I mean, exactly. I mean, there's so much that was going on with this. All right, let's get beyond that. So here's another one. So this is, individuals. Now let's just sidestep for a minute, and we're going to go into those that are trading on margin. So margin account, something that exists in the stock market. Many people have used margin to trade, and when you're doing option calls and all that stuff, you're going to use margin to an extent if you're shorting. There's all these different ways to use margin to expand the amount of money that you have available for you to trade. Now, in the crypto space, people are trading on margin. I find it highly risky, but you have platforms like Nexo and Celsius and others that are allowing you to borrow against your digital asset on a margin account. So if the amount of money that you borrow against your digital asset, the market changes, like we've seen right now, if you borrowed at the high point and the market goes down, you need to now find the money to top up your account to make sure that you're within a certain percentage. Now, that could be risky because you're borrowing against a speculative asset, and as the things fluctuate, you could put yourself in a predicament. Now, we've seen those types of predicaments when there were flash crashes, and the flash crash, along with technical glitches, actually caused people to lose a ton of money. We've seen it on a couple different platforms, and in some cases, the platform tried to make it right. In other cases, platforms have ignored and have not made it right. But here's one that I find to be interesting, because here's one where Kraken offers refunds to crypto exchange traders that were hit by an ETH price fall. Now, this price fall was rapid. Now, one of the things that Chip and I talked about the other night was that on Thursday night, we were talking about two things that happened. One, there was an exchange over in the Philippines that accidentally sold Bitcoin, BTC, for like $6,000. And then after it happened, the exchange went back to their customers and said, "Oh, by the way, we accidentally sold you Bitcoin at 6,000. Can you please return it?" Now, obviously, you're like, "Hey, I bought this at 6,000. You listed at 6,000. Not my fault." Right? So what does the exchange do over in the Philippines? They decide they're going to freeze those users' accounts. So not only did the exchange make a mistake, not only did the exchange sell you something at a discounted rate accidentally, but the entire loop of the process, the settlement process, was complete. But the exchange, like Robinhood, decided to take punitive action against their customers and shut them down. Now, if you look at this other situation, so how does Kraken
react to that. So Kraken takes it, and they have an ETH drop on February 22nd. I missed it, but the price of ETH on Kraken fell to $700. Very similar scenario. Philippines drops to 6,000. They sell Bitcoin at 6,000. On February 22nd, Kraken has a crash also, and ETH goes down to 700 from 16, 17, 1800, wherever it was on the 22nd. People buy in at 700, or people are on margin and they lose money, right? Because now they have to top up, and there could be a whole mess of things that are happening. So two things could happen here. So here you have the price of ETH fell to 700, significantly below its low point in other major exchanges. With investors licking their wounds, Kraken investigated the sell-off and found its trading engine had processed everything correctly. But obviously there was an error. Something happened. So here they say the CEO says it was caused by extreme selling, while also calling for customers not to trade with leverage if they don't understand the risks. So what they're saying here wasn't that people bought at 700, is that people were getting shut down on their margin. Their margin was coming due because the percentage offset was different. And so here Kraken could say, sorry guys, you're out. We're taking your money. So all of your asset that you took on margin, we're wiping you out. But they took a different approach. So what Kraken did, they're actually offering to refund customers. So they said, so on this article here, they're saying that Kraken clients have been offered refunds ranging in size from 5% to 50% of their losses. Now, Kraken could say nothing, we're giving you zero, or they could say, hey, how do we keep these clients engaged? Not to do what happened with other exchanges and say, screw you guys, we're going home. In this case, they said, we got to figure out how to help people. Is it fair to give them 100% because these people knew that they're going out on a margin, or do they find a way to accommodate? So in this case, they find a way to accommodate, right? So what does it say here? Coming out of pocket to help some people out for the sake of client retention. I mean, that's big. Now, if it turns out that it was a glitch, they need to come out 100% if it was a glitch, which is something that Chip and I have said many times over, that if you have an exchange and you have a technical glitch that does not allow people to either top up their account or access their account in any way in a short period of time, or if your notifications, it happens at midnight or 3 a.m. and people are sleeping, they don't get a chance to go through that top up. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy because here, typically on a stock exchange, open business hours, crypto 24 hours. So what do you do with your margin if you have a flash crash? We're not talking about a decrease. We're talking about a flash crash, down, back up. Similar to this, it dropped to $700, out of the blue. So now they're trying to help people. So here, generally 80 to 100% of that is credited, combo of cash and fee credits, etc. But what I look at, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I look at this and I say Kraken trying to help their people. Maybe there'll be more to it as we go through, So, hey, shout out to Rich over in Indiana, 6 weeks as a subscriber here on the chain. So what I would recommend, if you guys are brand new to the channel, brand new here, and you said, hey, what's this all about? We see the HODL review early mornings on a Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. You're like, oh, this is great. I need to keep tuning in. So what you want to do is hit the subscribe button down below, then hit the bell notifier, and you'll get notified every single time we post a live stream. Now, we do stream Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we do this show every Saturday. And we have people from all over the world tuning in, even in our evening streams, people from Europe tuning in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's amazing. Now, when we stream early morning on a Saturday, it's awesome because it's afternoon or evening for many people all around the world. So we definitely appreciate all that. But if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. That'll definitely help us out. I'm looking up, I'm streaming up. Let's see, I'm trying to find somebody put a, let me see, I don't see it here. There was a comment that someone put up here and now it's gone. It's way, I stopped it and then I scrolled it. All right. So, oh, here's one. Leverage and shorts are sophisticated trading strategies. Inexperienced people need not do this or likely get wrecked. Beware. That is a comment that everybody should heed to. If you don't understand leverage, if you don't understand shorts, if you don't understand the margin environment, stay away, especially in the crypto space. In my opinion only, I just believe that you're in a speculative investment already. Why do you want to make it even more risky? This is a buy and hold scenario. There's a lot of great projects out there. It's hard to predict the top. It's hard to predict the bottom, but people are making money along the way. But so at some point, if you're constantly trying to guess the direction of the market, you're either leaving money on the table or you're going to get wrecked because you sell out, you buy in, you sell out when it did. I just think it's super risky getting into that. So Hydro's saying, what do you think about the new MasterCard that gives XRP? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? We looked at it. I haven't dug into it deeply. I believe it's only available in the US right now. I believe it's a good thing. I don't know why it would be bad unless you're spending your XRP and then getting a percentage of XRP back. What I do see though, with Uphold and with some of the others, and we've talked about this a lot, there's a blending going on right now between the digital exchange space and the banking space, where the digital exchange is moving in rapidly into the banking space. The banks are a lot slower trying to move into the crypto space. So point in case, Kraken, they have a banking license over in Wyoming. They're doing great things. Celsius offering interest earned on your digital asset holdings, plus you can borrow against your assets, like we were just talking about. And then you have Uphold that's offering you a credit card. If in order for the digital asset space to be viable as a financial space, you need to have all of the elements already baked in before you get to the point of full adoption. So imagine you go full adoption, but you don't have the earned interest. You don't have the easy transition from asset to asset, exchange to exchange. You don't have that. So the simplification of the flow of money to a bank, or bank to your digital asset exchange, or maybe your bank is your digital asset exchange. I want to take, you want to take all your paychecks and have it auto deposited into Uphold. Why not do that? Why can't you have it auto deposited into Uphold? Because they don't have a banking license. But potentially you could do that with Kraken. You could have that as your bank, and you have everything auto deposited over there. It cuts out a big part of the equation. Now, another part of that are the credit cards. So right now we know we all live, on credit cards, because everywhere you go, it simplifies the buying process. You go into a store, I got to take my money out. Here's my cash. Now I got to wait for change, or I can just go, Chip, see ya, I'm out of here. And not you, Chip, but Chip on the credit card. Or you can do whatever, scan or whatever it does. A lot of countries have already done away with that fiat process, where they've simplified everywhere you go utilizing credit cards. So if you go to Iceland, I was shocked, the first time I was over there. Everywhere we went, everywhere, you're at a little kiosk at the bottom of a waterfall, and you're going to get a cup of coffee. Cash? No. Credit card. Okay, here you go. Credit card, everything. It was amazing. I don't think I once touched currency over in Iceland. Everything was credit card versus other countries. You always get a wad of currency and credit card, and that way you have both. But we need that digitalization. Eventually, potentially, the credit cards are going to be on the phone exclusively, or you want to have something physical. You want to have your your physical card, and then you want to have your phone card. So having the physical card is important. So there's a lot to that. Now, so to your point though, is the new MasterCard that gives XRP good or bad? Again, I think it's a good thing. If you're planning on spending your digital asset now, to me, I'm in this for the longer term. I'm not planning on spending digital asset. You have to consider the tax ramification until they get that part resolved. I think it's very difficult because think about right now, every single transaction is a taxable event, whether it's a taxable realized loss or gain every time you spend your digital asset, because it's now transacted and transferred as a value into dollars or pounds or euro, however you're using it. In the US anyway. So it'd be if you have your XRP and you're using the credit card, you're selling your XRP. So there's one person in the space that I know that's getting paid in digital asset. There's many that are, but if you look at James Rule XRP, he gets paid in XRP, which is amazing. There's people out there getting paid in Bitcoin. I think it's a full use of the space, especially if you're guaranteed X amount of dollars, because we live in a dollar society. If you're guaranteed when payroll comes about on such and such date, you're going to get X dollars in XRP. It's not XRP. It's you're getting paid X dollars paid in XRP. Now it's your choice what you want to do with it. Are you going to use your credit card as Hydros is mentioning? Yes. I mean, in that case, you have your account where that's your spendable money, because that's how you're getting paid. You might take a section of it and put it into another account, and that's your savings. But right now you got to spend it. So yes, good thing, but with a caveat there, Hydro, bad thing if you're trying to save for the longer term and you don't want to spend it, then don't spend it, don't use it. But if you're able to use that same MasterCard and spend your regional currency, so if your credit card is an actual credit card and not a debit card, and you can go out and buy stuff on it and get percentage back in XRP, it's just like points, like your Amex points or your Visa points. So I like it. I think it's a net positive. And again, it's developing the base of the entire space. So there's definitely a lot going on. Oops, I kind of lost where I was. That was a long way to give you that answer. So see there, you get cash back when you spend money. You're spending fiat, not XRP. There you go. So that's the whole point. So looking at everything. No, you don't tax. Well, sorry, you don't get taxed on the loss, but it's still an event. So realized gain or realized loss is still a taxable event. You're either claiming it as a loss, or you're getting taxed for the gain. But it's still something. It's still something that has to be reported. So every time you have a transaction, it's still part of your reporting. I guess that was my point, if I needed to clarify that. So you're not getting taxed on the loss, but it's still a taxable event, right? So exactly, David Schmall is saying you can write off the loss, but then you have that gain. So to me, that's the that's the only issue. Is that you're constantly tracking everything that's going on in this space. And that's the issue. That's all. I probably, maybe it was confusing the way I said it. So hard to call it a digital asset when it's used as a currency worldwide. XRP, yeah. Is it, you were talking about XRP or other? The space is opening up, which is amazing. I see the comments in here again, and it's phenomenal. These comments that I see flying through here. You guys are, so up on everything that's happening is so amazing. That's why we love, this, putting together, and we have this on the chain community is phenomenal, because we're looking at so many areas and elements of what's going on in this space. So big shout out to One Rough Rican. Appreciate the support. You're awesome. And you just came in too. You missed the whole thing. We got to start over. So Michael Otto, I haven't looked at this credit card deep enough, but Michael Otto is saying you only get the 5% back if you're spending XRP. I don't know. We're gonna have to look more into it. We'll get into it and figure this thing out, and see where it's going. But again, you got to build it. So that means they're building the base right now. They're building the structure. And as we move forward, it could be a year from now, 2 years from now, they've got the structure in place. They know what they're doing. I mean, it's amazing. It really is amazing. David Jamal, I'm hoping they'll change tax rules to accommodate this. XRP is ruled to be as a currency and no more capital gains. Yeah, like what's going on with the FCA over in the UK, definitely a lot going on. And that's where the UK taking a step ahead of everywhere, everywhere else here. Taking a big step ahead of the US. That's for sure. Let's see. Once these crypto cards are mainstream, I don't think the public will settle for anything less than a currency designation. I think the currency designation has got to come. Japan, the UK, other parts of the world. It's just in the US. The US is problematic. That's it. Let's see. So I think the alt bull run will happen before the XRP ruling. Chip actually pulled up what's the timeline of the case now moving forward. I think we're going to cover the timeline on Sunday on the roundtable, but that timeline for sure is that timeline is looks like on the case anyways, unless there's some settlement, looks like it's pushing back to July and August. So that's something we'll talk about on Sunday on the roundtable. Tomorrow's Sunday. Anthony Johnson, see that right there? Hit that thumbs up. There's 101 thumbs up right now. Hit the thumbs up. You guys definitely help out by doing that. Something else, if you guys could do this, do us a favor. Go over to our other channel. We do have another YouTube channel, and on the other YouTube channel, we actually post short form videos. So you want to go over there. Let me see if I can get to that channel. It's in the description, but you guys definitely, if you can go over there, go to the other channel, sign up for that one as well. And you will, I'm going to put a link here. This is the easiest link for me to grab. Oops, something's playing in the background. Oh, it's my thing playing in the background here. Yep. All right, take this. Here we go. I grab that. That's the fastest link that I could grab. Go ahead, go to the other channel. So that one, we have short form videos. Those videos might be, 10 minutes. They might be 15 minutes. And it's a great way. Chip and I have been doing individual videos. The other day, Thursday, we actually did a video together. You're going to see a lot more of that. Also, a little banter back and forth on a 10 or 15 minute video. So we have our live streams on this channel, and then we have the other one on the other channel. Man, I had all this stuff to cover, and we didn't even get to it. I've got, stuff on Bitcoin. We had some stuff on Cardano. Wyoming introduced a bill for blockchain filing. A lot of stuff. I guess we'll end up covering this tomorrow night. China CBDC. I want to talk about that tomorrow night, because that's all about, the China CBDC. There's an article here talking about domestic dominance, not about beating the dollar, but I think it has a lot more to do with regional dominance. So I want to get into that as well tomorrow. There's so much. I mean, look at this. We just went through an hour we've been on here, and we just cover like a few things. Adam wants to know our thoughts on algo and so many other things. So I believe we should dig in on the roundtable. We'll get into this. And I believe the following roundtable next week, we're going to get into Flare Network, Flare Finance, differentiating between the two, and really digging in over there. So Vince 724, what is up? I believe, what is that? Vince 13 over here with 10 with a 10 euro support. Appreciate your support. That's awesome. Got Ryan. Thought Review is such an incredible resource. Thank you, Jeff and Co, for all the hard work. Appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes it happen. You guys show up here and give us so much great information right here in the chat. So tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have an amazing day today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. I'm out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.